Hi, Stuart Bruce here, and I am the Spare Time Property Investor. In these podcasts, I'm going to share tips, tricks and lessons that I've learned and will hopefully help you, especially if you're still working the 9 to 5. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spare Time Property Investor podcast. Today I'm just talking about a free giveaway that we have. Now this is something that we feel really strongly about and will hopefully help you. So what it is a viewing checklist. Really simple, but there's a couple of reasons why we think it is really important, and particularly at the moment. People are very anxious to get their hands on a great deal at the moment. They're rushing from deal to deal. I've seen posts on Instagram and Facebook saying that people are buying properties without seeing them. And also, if you're dashing around and you're overly enthusiastic about just picking up anything, you might get really burnt in the future. So what we believe is important is having something in place to just check yourself. As you're going around a property, you can make sure that you're not missing things. You might miss some things and nothing's perfect. And we're not saying this checklist is so exhaustive that you won't miss anything. But what it can do is by having a checklist, it will hopefully make sure you spot things that if you missed could cost you a lot of money in the future. Now the idea, it kind of comes from this book, The Checklist Manifesto. Really great book, and in it the author talks about construction sites and surgery and things like that, and how by introducing a checklist to a hospital where they're carrying out surgeries, that it reduced the incidence of mistakes, which in surgery is disastrous. So it does make sense. It does make sense to have something you can refer to as you're walking around a property and make sure you're not missing something. So for instance, if you just dash into a property, you have a quick look round and think to yourself, well, yeah, the room sizes look about right. It's a decent location. Yeah, let's go for it. But you don't look at the roof, for instance. And then that becomes an issue either when you're purchasing the property, or if it gets missed on a survey, for instance, that you have to pay out lots of money in the future to repair it. Or again, if you don't look at the consumer unit and you miss that the property maybe needs a rewire, or many other issues that you might just miss, especially when you're really enthusiastic about getting a property. So I think now really is a great time to have something like this, because we all know how hot the market is. And because of that, we start making kind of emotional decisions, because you feel like you have to act quickly. You feel like you have to get your hands on that next deal, or you're going to be left behind as the market races ahead in this boom, is what it is. So I really think this is just another way to help systemize your investing and make sure that you, as much as possible, avoid any nasty surprises in the future. And the checklist is also broken down into just a general checklist, and some points only really apply if you're looking at potential HMOs. So this will hopefully help you if you're looking at buy-to-lets or HMOs. And also we think the nice thing about it is that you could print off some, go to one viewing after another, just make a note of which property the checklist refers to. So when you're looking back and you're thinking, well, I've seen 5, 6 terrace houses, how do you remember which one had the damp patch or which one had the windows that look like they need replacing? Well, you've got a note of it. You've got a record of which property you're concerned about and which things you need to maybe do a little bit more research into when you're at home. And it's also worth saying this document is here to help. It's not there to pick faults in properties that would otherwise be quite a good option. So this document is all about reducing the risk, but not talking yourself out of every property, because there needs to be a balance between being overly enthusiastic where you think everything looks fantastic and you just go ahead with something that later doesn't seem like such a good idea, and then the other end of the spectrum where you just talk yourself out of everything because you found a little damp patch, which could be resolvable. But also, when all is said and done, it's you who is going around the property. You really need to understand as much as possible about what to look out for. So this is just a guide, and if you're not sure about anything, you need to get the professionals involved. For instance, you could go back on a second viewing with a builder if you're concerned about something, or an electrician or whatever, just to give you that extra reassurance that you're correct in terms of your assessment of the property, and they can give you quotes and things like that as well in terms of what it would take to put something right. So hopefully this will help you as you're dashing around doing viewing after viewing. Make sure you don't miss something that you might later regret, and therefore hopefully avoid making some costly mistakes. So the link to the document is in the description, so go and have a look. If you're on Instagram, there's also a link in the link tree. Well, hopefully you find this free resource helpful. And if you do, please share this video, please like and subscribe. But that's it from me for this week. Best of luck, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a 5-star review to help other people find it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.